95% of our lives are run and created by our subconscious mind programming. Imagine if your subconscious mind is running many negative, disempowering, and self-sabotaging programs. How will that 95% of your life turn out to be? Would you like help to change your subconscious programming into something that works for you and set it to attract and create everything you desire? Join Tamra Oviatt in her show Metaprogramming and the Human Biocomputer here on OMTimes, where she will connect to the source energy and change your subconscious programming by deleting your negative belief systems. Tamra is the founder of Sacred Activations, a subconscious metaprogramming modality that rewires your brain and shifts hundreds of your belief systems so you can break away from lack, pain, and suffering and take control of what you want to create in your life. Tamra has helped hundreds of thousands of people worldwide, and she is here to help you too. It's not about fighting what you don't want. It's about creating what you do want. And the only way to do that is to change and upgrade your subconscious programming. Let Tamra help you create magic in your world. Tune in every week at Metaprogramming and the Human Biocomputer.
Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited you're joining us. I have an amazing special guest here today, Darius Barazandeh. I think I said that right, which I'm very, very excited about. We're going to be talking about exiting the matrix. You guys, we are the creators of this world, and we are in charge of what happens and how we do it. So we're going to be talking about that. A few words about Darius. I think I was on his show in 2013. 2014, and I've been on several times since. He's absolutely incredible. He's one of my favorite hosts of shows I've ever been on, because he gets it. He knows. He's not caught up in the illusions, and he's real. I just absolutely love him. So we're going to deep dive into getting out of the matrix, and at the end of the show, I'm going to run some activations, and I'm sure that Darius is also going to have some processes that he wants to share with you to help support you to get out of the matrix, meaning get in your power and out of the illusions of loss of control. Welcome, Darius. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Tamra. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm excited to connect with everybody, take questions, and just send some big love to everybody on the planet.
So how do we send out the matrix energies?
That's a multi-part question. But I think the first thing is kind of understanding how everything begins, right? Everything begins from us. Like our whole reality, we are now have a lot of folks, quantum scientists and others saying it's a projection. It's a holographic projection. So, you know, the first cause, the inception point is absolutely from us, and from where we are, you know, that is our responsibility, and we can begin to project that outwards. And I mean, hopefully we can unpack more and more ways to do that. The other thing I think really is as well is it's about purifying our own heart, because whatever we're seeing in the outer world, it's all there to help us purify and become more aligned to who we really are. So the more we start to purify our heart, our consciousness, our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs, the less and less that stuff has a lower vibrational hook to anchor into us and potentially become part of our reality. So I think we can unpack a lot of these concepts today and help folks.
So how do we do that?
Yeah, the first thing I would say, I mean, if I had to take someone just right off the street and help them move through this, which is what I do at UWealth Revolution a lot, is people coming in. First thing is, you've got to absolutely know what you want. You've got to have, I believe, something that really aligns to who you are and something that really matters to you. And starting with something small, starting with something that is important to you in your life, or maybe to your family, or maybe just to making the world a better place. Or maybe to just say, hey, you know what, I want to move forward and have a better car to drive, or a better place to live in, or more opportunities for my kids. Whatever it is that gets you to begin to take your energy and direct it into something that is meaningful for you. You know, what do they say? What was the old quote? Idle hands are the work of the devil, or the playground of the devil. It's true. It's like, as we're more idle, all of these other energies that are out there tend to hijack or draw us in. How many times have you not had something that you really needed to do or were really excited about doing? And what's the first thing people do? Well, in today's world, it's like we grab our phone, we start scrolling, we start looking for something that's going to somehow fill that emptiness. We've got to be the ones to fill that up first thing in the morning. Like, start to really plug into that, because once you start with that, like, your whole day, your whole vibration is going to move forward in a very different way. So the first thing is, like, you know, figure out what it is you want. Do y'all know this? I want to say something too. Do y'all know the story of a lady named Helen Haskell? Anybody heard that story? Raise your
I
hand. Or
have not heard of her.
oh my gosh, this one was incredible. It was amazing. So this lady literally won every contest she entered from something like the years 1954 all the way to like the 70s. Like, every single contest, sweepstakes she wanted to enter, she would win. And it's a crazy story. Like, she won houses, she won cars, she won trips to France, to New York. I mean, anything, like, she would win. And she figured out, like, her process was, she would figure out she wanted it, so she would select it, and then she would sit there and she would begin to anticipate it and start to actually project it, and then she would then accept it, and then she would, you know, hold the frequency of this thing. So she had a very definite purpose. She knew what she wanted, and literally started to bend reality to start winning all these things. Why? Because she focused. So if somebody could win that many sweepstakes doing something like that, right? Your life, this is my point with her, your life is like your own sweepstakes. Like, you're in this video game to make this life something that matters to you. So why wouldn't we do that every day? Why would we leave what we feel, what we're looking at, to chance? Don't do it.
You know, that's absolutely perfect. And that's correct. So it's having a purpose, not just getting bounced around by the universe and all the programs there. I know every time I really focus on something, I get it. You know, it was with my house in the Yucatan. It was, I won the Omni Awards for #1 healer medical intuitive for the year of 2022. And you know, I didn't nominate myself or even know I was going to get nominated. But once I got nominated, I went, I'm winning, you know? And so I put my energy into focusing on winning that, and I did. And
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry I jumped in, but I was like, I didn't get the
go.
acronym right, and people are gonna hate me. So I wrote it down. Okay, here it is on my hand. This is what she said. Select. So you select the thing you want, right? This is not a class on Helen Haskell either. I just want to say, like, just think about this in your life as you get up and exiting the matrix, right? We select the thing we want, right? And then once we know what we want, she would say, okay, now you project it, right? So you create a scene, you create a moment, a situation in your mind that you could replay over and over again, that creates a lot of feelings, that creates a lot of endorphin, that creates just a lot of happy, good, you know, go lucky vibe. And you're projecting this scene over and over again. And you're just in that scene over and over again. It could also be kind of like the mundane part about it. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, it's going to be this amazing thing. I'm like, well, what if like, you know, you got the new car, you're projecting the scene, but instead of like the euphoric feeling of being in the new car, it's just like the feeling of, oh, I'm going to wash the new car. Oh, I'm going to clean the wheels of the new car. So instead of making it like some miracle, it's like, yeah, it's just commonplace. It's going to happen. You know, it's like, it's just the way it is. And then she would accept it. So after projecting the scene, and this is the SPAC, SPAC, accept it. So you're like, it's coming. And if it doesn't come next week, it's coming. It's going to come however it comes. It's coming. You accept it, and then the last thing was collect it. You just collect it, right? So if we start to play with reality a little bit like that, instead of even like, oh, the Matrix, you know, and it's like so heavy, this dark thing. I'm like, the Matrix, as we see it, is actually helping us all like move into salvation. Like, they are playing a role to wake us up, unify us, get our consciousness to expand. And how does a diamond become a diamond? Well, it starts out as coal. And do you know what creates the diamond from the coal? It's the pressure. The pressure of that coal underground creates the diamond. So we are all becoming our diamond consciousness from all the stuff that's around us that's pushing that pressure. But the diamond doesn't crack, the coal, excuse me, doesn't crack, because while it's under pressure, it begins to actually strengthen and become the hardest substance on earth. We will never crack. Like, as long as we keep our consciousness high, we will just keep elevating, right? We control that. So, this is one of the first things to exit out of the matrix is fill yourself with something that really matters to you and be energized about it, and start small. Like, if you're in a place where it's really hard, start small and just build and build and build. It may be like, hey, I just want to feel good about that flower that's growing in my, yard. I want to be appreciative of that, and start to just be in higher vibration from that. Once you practice high vibration on something really small, like, you start to that vibration starts to go into everything. Like, if you're waiting for, and I know I'm pretty amped up today because I guess I'm super high
Keep
vibe.
going.
If you're
Go, go,
waiting
go.
for one huge thing to be like, when this happens, oh, then I'm going to have a high vibration. No, you won't. No, you won't. Because you've been in training. We've been, hey, I've done it too. We've been in training ourselves to be in lower vibrations so much that that high thing will come and you're like, oh, I feel great. And then in a couple of days, we'll just go back down.
Yeah,
So,
but when that high thing comes sometimes too, it kind of freaks you out. And sometimes takes a lot of energy to create. And then you're like, holy cow, that was exhausting.
right. Or that high thing, this is an interesting thing you bring up. It's brilliant. That high thing actually takes a lot of frequency to hold on to. So,
Yes.
like, look at the lottery winners that win, millions of
Yes.
dollars, and then their money's gone because their original frequency was here. The $1 million, they got lucky, it came in, it's here, and then
Right.
they can't hold it. They can't sustain it. It just
Right.
leaves. So it starts with the small thing. Like, this is a funny story. Like, we've been, changing our show and up leveling stuff. And I was getting ready the other day, in the bathroom, just like after the shower and all that. And I see this, like, kind of like a paper towel on the floor, like crumpled up. And it's over there. And I'm like, do I go get that? I was like, nah, it's no big deal. I won't get that. And then all of a sudden I was like, why the hell are you settling to not get that damn paper towel and look at it? It's like, go get the paper towel, clean up the floor. Like, have have a high vibration regarding everything around you, because that decision to not pick that up is like just another one of a long line of decisions, just to let something go that your eyes and heart wanted to pick up. Like, how many times do we let stuff go and our eyes and heart are telling us, hey, you can make that place cleaner. You can make that place better. You can make your environment better. It's like, don't let any of it go. Just create that field of excellence. And then everybody starts to come into that field and they're like, hey, what's that guy doing? Why is he such in good mood? Why does he seem higher vibe? It's because it started like right when waking up, picking up that dang paper towel on the floor that probably one of my kids left there.
That's really a perfect analogy. I mean, you start small, focus, and what happens is you start getting used to the vibration and you can hold it more. I've talked a lot about lottery winners, how they can win, but they can't keep it. Well, because they haven't changed their subconscious belief systems and they haven't focused, they've relaxed. Oh, now they can relax. And then what happens is everything just goes away, or they don't even feel good about it. So what's like a daily practice you do to keep your energy levels up? What do you do?
Okay. Well, for me, I always take that time for myself in the morning, and it's usually something physical. So I like to go to the gym and work out. I've been doing that since I was 15 years old. When I go to the gym and work out, or it could be going for a walk. It could be anything that gets me out of that, like, zone where there's always a part where your mind wants to quit. There's always that. Even just getting out of bed, your mind wants to sleep in. Your mind wants to say, no more. When you can get past that, what I call the mind wall, and you do that first thing in the morning, and it could even be like, hey, I'm just going to go for a walk, and you don't want to do it, or I'm going to go walk the dog, or I'm going to go and I'm going to weed the garden. It doesn't necessarily need to be some big strenuous thing, but when you start to break sort of, and I call it like that lower frequency set, that place where we've always been operating from, because our natural inclination, unfortunately, tends to be like we want to do the minimum. And the moment we start to, like, just say, no, you know what, I'm gonna go a little more today, we start to create that habit of, okay, I've broken through that mind wall. on this thing in the morning at the gym because I didn't want to go, or I wanted to stop doing that workout or that set. I wanted to put it down, but I was like, I'm going to try to get 2 more, or I'm going to go for that extra walk, or I'm going to talk to my neighbor that I don't really want to talk to, like whatever it is. Then the next mind wall that comes up, it's like, oh, that's easy. I'm going to do that. So first thing, I always try to do something physical. I just feel like it balances me a bit and I feel more alive and I'm in a better mood the rest of the day. And then the next thing I come back, and it's work, and I'm looking at stuff. But the other thing I do too, even before I go to the gym, I almost forgot that. So let me do this. I'll show y'all. I'll give y'all a demonstration here. I have this little cheap book, 99 cents, right? And I write down every morning goals. I don't know if you can see all this stuff. I got pages and pages of them. And
Yeah.
I write down, I've got goals for, a certain amount of income. I've got like, okay, here's my X dollars a year goal. Here's my $10 million a year goals, right? Or my $10 million a year steps. So like the normal amount, let's say much lower than that, like just what I'd like to try to do. Then I've got like the basic stuff, like, okay, you need to do this. We need to work on this. We need to fix this. But then I've got like this big, crazy, hairy objective number for me. And that's where I write all the stuff that if I had already done it, this is how I would have reverse engineered it. And so in one column is like, here's the stuff I know I need to do to kind of get to this goal that I
Right.
think is believable for me. But then here's all the stuff that, while that goal seems kind of crazy for me, here's the stuff that if I had already done it, this is what I would be doing. And my subconscious mind knows all that. It knows exactly what I should be doing. I mean, 100%. And it's telling me you should be doing this. You need to hire an agency to do this. You need to look at this. You need to be taking all those old programs that great people like Tamra's had on U Wealth Revolution. And those should all be out there, from 5 years ago. You need to set up some super affiliate program to help other people listening to the show do well. And all these ideas, and I'm like, they're getting on the paper and they do not leave that paper or get crossed off until they're done. And if they don't work, so what? Who cares?
Yeah, then you move on. But even if it doesn't work, it's opening you up for something else that is going to work. It's bringing you on that path. Is that correct?
That's right, because maybe I call that agency, oh, they're not any good or they don't work well. And then I'm like, well, maybe I'll try another one, or I got this lead for something else. And it's training me. This is the thing. I am training myself to listen to those intuitive voices. I'm
Right.
listening to it because it's not about money or a certain amount of income. I don't really care at this point so much. I mean,
Yeah.
what I feel like is, how can I reach more people? How can I
Right.
get people to start to really connect to this place so that we do exit this storyline as fast as possible? We do move into free energy. We do move into people, like the people listening to this call, connecting into their genius and creating amazing stuff. Like, how do we do that faster and faster? Well, people
Right.
have got to hear the message. So yeah, I think it's amazing to listen to the still part of your mind has the answer and write it down.
Yeah.
Whatever challenge it is, write it
Yeah.
down, you know? And then every day, unless you do it or you try it, carry it forward to the next day.
Right.
Start to breathe life into it. Put energy, you are what you're doing in materializing stuff. If we go back to the Helen Haskell, the SPAC, SPAC, select, project, accept, collect, is we're breathing energy and matter into these ideas. We're alchemizing these ideas into reality. That's all we're doing when we do that. That's exactly what we should be doing. And you know what, Tamra? The more people do that, the better they feel, the more excited they
Right.
feel, the more they have
Yeah.
energy to do things because they're seeing this materialization of like their ideas and it's exciting. It feels good.
Yeah. Yeah. And they get excited. And then when they do that, it opens up to even attract more. And that's really how we change the world. Is I keep telling people, you really just have to work on yourself and focus on what it is you desire. And when you do that, you're bringing in that energy of peace, love, joy, and happiness, and it affects the whole world. I mean, we don't have to go save the world. We have to help ourselves.
Save
And when we
yourself.
help ourselves, then we're able to affect the whole world, because like you said, the whole world is a projection of our hearts, right?
Well, yeah, and there are people out there that, I mean, if you and I don't want to be hard here, but if you haven't saved yourself, like if you're miserable in what you're doing, like how are you going to save somebody else? How are you going to help somebody else if you're struggling? Like you can help somebody, you can be kind, you can be loving, you can be a shoulder to cry on, of course, but you can also be an example of a higher vibration. And then instead of being like a moment to moment support system for that person or a one-time support system, you could be an example that then gets them out of that situation, right? So it's almost like by raising your vibe, like you can actually help and train other people to go, hey, you know what? Whatever that vibe was, I'm gonna plug into that. So maybe I can hold that frequency. And then now you're really getting into a big ripple effect. So I'm not saying if you're don't help anybody unless you're just in a great place. That's not what I mean. You can help a lot of people just by being a shoulder to cry on, an ear to listen to, someone to give advice, to give counsel, no matter where you at. And actually that then raises your vibration. I had a lot of people like, oh, when I figure this out, I'll be a healer. I'm like, be a freaking healer now. Like start helping people now, because what you're going to do is help them raise their vibration just a little bit. Like start right now. There was a lady on one of my calls and she's like, how do I become a healer? And I was like, why don't you take 10 minutes of your day, if it's hard for you to imagine yourself as a healer, just 10 minutes, and say, this 10 minutes of the day, I'm a healer. I'm an energy healer. What would I be doing for that 10 minutes? Just play, create the energetic template, what you'd be doing just for 10 minutes. And then each day, like keep doing that. And you're going to find like, okay, oh, I'd be reading this article. I'd be looking at classes to take. I'd be working on a meditation. I'd be tuning in and really feeling energies, subtle energy. I'd be like working with my hands. And she started doing it. And now she's like, oh my gosh, now it's like 3 hours. I love it. I want to be in that space more. Now it's like, I'm drawn to be there. It's like, yeah, but you started with 10 minutes. It's like, yeah, but that 10 minutes opened up now 3 hours a day. And I don't want to go back. I'm like, exactly. Exactly.
Perfect. Yeah, if us healers waited to be healed to be a healer, there would be no healers.
I'm still unhealed.
We're
I
all in
still
our
have
process,
issues.
man.
I still have issues. My folks, they have a property about an hour and a half from here and they're having their roof done. And I was so frustrated because Monday I wanted to be there when the roofer came. And I was like, I really wanted to be there because my dad's almost 90. And I was like, I don't want them to have to deal with the guy by themselves and all that. And I wanted to be there. And I was so down about it. Like I had a horrible weekend thinking about it. I was trying to keep my vibration up. And I just kept saying, man, I really want to be there. Like, I just want to be there. And I kept imagining myself being there. So come to find out, after feeling all bad for a couple of days, my mom called me like 15 minutes before this. And she said, oh, well, the guy never came yesterday. And he said the materials had some weird delay and he's going to be able to start on Friday. And I told my mom and dad, I said, look, if y'all could have had the guy start on Friday, I could have been there because I, I don't have live calls on Friday. I can be there, I can be there to help and then, I can support you guys. Sure enough, now the guy's going to start on Friday. But I wrecked myself kind of all weekend feeling bad about it instead of saying, hey, Darius, everything's going to work for the highest and best good. So I mean, I'm not healed, but every day I'm going to get up and I'm going to keep doing what I feel I need to do because I'm practicing, I'm in training, I'm a work in progress, and I'm going to be till the day I die. But am I going to be better off being that work in progress and loving that work? Yeah, and be a lot better off,
Oh,
and
heck
help
yeah.
more people.
Yeah, absolutely. Because then you do get to help more people and you help so many people and you have so many different people on your show that helps everybody so many different ways because just like religion, there's so many different modalities out there to help assist people to make changes.
It's all coming through humans in different ways. Like I think of like a kaleidoscope, those old things where you turn the little, the cylinder in the head and all the little pieces in there would move and the light's coming through, but everything looks different. And everybody is like this different fractal and sources coming through people in different ways, trying to share the same truth, but through a different lens that would support somebody in a way they need. And so that's the cool thing about the show to me is that it stretches my brain. So I never, I mean, like, I feel like I got ideas, but then I'm like, oh, I never thought about it that way. oh, that's interesting. And then, we play with that for a while. But to maybe that one person, it reaches them in a way that they need.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. This is a perfect time. Let's take a quick break. You guys will be back in a few minutes and we will continue our conversation, and we'll also be doing some processes with you. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Thank you.
OMTimes TV. Do you want to go deeper into sacred activations, which is a subconscious metaprogramming process? Tamra Oviatt is inviting you to visit her website at tamraoviatt.com to sign up and get lifetime access to 3 free activations that you can listen to anytime you want or as often as you need. If you like what Tamra does and like to incorporate sacred activations into your life, she also offers live webinars, masterclasses, and practitioners training to further support your healing, manifestations, and expansion. There are hundreds of activations on her website that address different aspects of your life: money, health, relationships, intuitive abilities, and more. Head over to her website at tamraoviatt.com and experience the magic of sacred activations. Thank you for listening. Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. OMTimes Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, OMTimes offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an OMTimes magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on OMTimes TV and broadcasting it across the extensive OMTimes radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. OMTimes. Open yourself to the possibilities.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Hi, you guys. We're back. We're back with Darius. We're going to continue down the path we're already going. We were talking a little bit on break about what was that lady's name that created all that stuff?
Helen Hadsell, I think it was, that won like every contest from the 50s to the 70s that she ever entered. What was she doing? How did she do this? How did she keep winning and winning? And I was like, how could you use that to create a great life for yourself? I mean, winning a contest where there's like all these entries in a fishbowl. I mean, like thousands of entries. That seems pretty amazing. I mean, surely we can use some of that to have a better life, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So where are we going for here? How to create a new reality no matter what is happening around you?
Ooh, that's cool. So I'll tell you a story. We had some transition on our team, and we've had things kind of move around. We had a wonderful web designer have to have a big surgery and get well. And this was a week before our show started. And I was like, oh my gosh, first of all, what do you need? How can we help you? How can we love you? I'd even written to you and Debs, and I was like, hey, do y'all know any web people? So from that email forward, I was like, okay, let me figure it out. So I put, ads everywhere. And the one thing I wanted to get really clear on what I wanted. So I was kind of like using the process, started like, this is what I want. I selected the right person, right? In my mind, at least. And then I started to like put it out there. So I put the ads on some different sites that I thought were good. And this is the thing I did that I want to talk about. I started to project myself into the scene of having an abundance of choices.
Mhm.
And so I waited till, there was like maybe 30 or 40 people that had written in. And my wife's like, oh my God, 30 people have written in. I was like, great, I'm going to bed. I'm taking a nap. And she's like, what? Why are you taking a nap? We need to go through. So like, nope. I'm like, it's already being done. There's higher forces bringing everything together now. I'm going to go take a
Right.
nap. And so I didn't just fall asleep. I sat there, for about 5 minutes, imagining the scene of the perfect person, of everything coming together. And I let that scene play in my mind over and over again. I learned this from my hypnosis instructor, Gerald Klein from Omni Hypnosis. And he would tell anybody who had gone through a healing or anybody that wanted to manifest something, go take a nap. Let your body entrain into that new vibration set point that you want. Because once you are about to fall asleep, the thing that you're thinking of, the thing that you're holding a vibration for, is going to get dropped into that subconscious mind. It's kind of like you've got this subconscious mind that's kind of below the level of the conscious mind. And we're always up here. The hard part is to crack that shell of the conscious mind. Usually it's formed when we're really young. But like, let's say you have an idea or something you want to have happen. How do you drop it in there? Well, right before you go to bed, the things that you're thinking about, if you're thinking about the problems, I can't pay bills, I feel so sick, the doctor told me this is really bad. If you're thinking about all that stuff before you go to bed, you're just filling your subconscious mind with all that. And what is your mind going to work on all night? It's going to work on that stuff, which is why most people wake up tired, unmotivated, uninspired. So you don't do that, or feel into it, but probably not a good thing. So I just imagined like this perfect person coming forward, everything working out. And I said, if this happens, universe, you're going to pay me back 10 times, 10 times what this cost me. And I wasn't talking about dollars. I was like, this is going to yield 10 times more. And whatever it might be new ideas. It might be somebody brings something, better to my world, or we have some fresh, innovation, whatever it is. And sure enough, when I woke up, there was hundreds of more. And in
Yeah.
about 2 days, found the right person and got on the phone with her. And she said with a really deep voice, don't worry about everything. I've got it all taken care of. You just focus on what you have to do. I can step right in and get it done. And come to find out, the lady, she's amazing. Her name is Michelle. She's a Reiki master. She's like a high level graphic designer. She's a master herbologist. She's spiritual. And I was like, oh my
Perfect.
gosh. Like, and she just dropped right in. Like, and I
Yeah.
think, what did I just do there? Something happened, right? So yeah, use that sleep trick. It's pretty big because most people before they go to bed, they rehearse every problem that they have for the day versus every maybe thing of gratitude they have, or maybe that vision of what they want to create, or maybe that space of happiness, of goodness, of joy that they want in their life. And you're sleeping a 30-year life. You're projecting these energies, and your body, when you wake up from a bad night's sleep and you're all sore and you've been moving around, or your shoulders aching because you've been thrashing and turning, your body is going through all of these negative thoughts and beliefs and things that are in your subconscious mind. It's trying to process it, and it's just wrecking you. So really be adamant about that. Wayne Dyer, I was listening to him. He was talking about doing that as well. Last 5 minutes before you go to bed. So, do it. Something you can do right now. It costs you nothing. It's free. It's easy. You don't even
Yeah.
have to work out, eat better, nothing.
Yeah,
Simple.
absolutely. I have something that's called the money energy paycheck system, where you pay yourself for what you do all day. And at night, you're supposed to write down everything you did for your business or whatever you're working on. And then you pay yourself for all that time, even if it's going to the gym, right? Or it's talking to a difficult relative that you really don't like talking to, or whatever that is. But you also have to sit down and write the gratitudes down of what you're happy about. And then you write yourself a check. And every day you do that, you're putting it in your money bank, and then the money starts showing up. But all these blessings start showing up in many different ways because you're taking the time right before you go to bed to write down the gratitude and to focus on that instead of, like you're saying, all the problems of the day. So that's absolutely perfect.
I think that is a genius idea. And it's training you also, and this, to see the value in the energy you're holding. Because I mean, if I came on my show or this show and I didn't come from a higher place or a place of gratitude or a place of, wanting to do better, people would be like, I'm never having that guy back. He's terrible. So when you
Yeah.
start to equate money with vibration, I heard someone say the other day, your frequency affects what you see. This was a
Yeah.
guy, Wes Watson, who's in jail, and he was a really bad dude. And then he had like this transcendental experience where he's like, for me to get out of jail and not get killed by, gangs and everything else, like I've got to be at a higher frequency than everybody else. And I've got to lift
Right.
people up into that frequency. And I thought, man, that's amazing. Because when your frequency is high, you see a different world. And guess what? I mean, when you start seeing that world and creating it, now you can be somebody that hopefully could create that for someone else. And then that changes your money situation, changes your life situation in a huge way. So it is absolutely huge. I think that's great.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think when you're focusing on what you really desire, the money shows up to support you in whatever you're doing, so it supports you in whatever you need, as long as you're focusing on creating gratitude and acceptance for yourself and supporting others. And again, that's all a balance too. It can't be all about you. It can't be all about others. It's got to be a balance in order for everybody to win. What would you say about that?
I agree. And you said, you start focusing on the thing and the gratitude and then the money starts from. I will say on record, there are things I still don't understand. I will never understand about this mysterious place we call the universe. Like
Yeah.
I still don't understand how things happen. I think I have an idea, but then there's always that part of reality that is, I know what I know. I know what I know what I know. There's stuff I don't know. And then there's this whole other places like I don't know that I don't know. And for most
Right.
humans, the I don't know that I don't know something is probably like 99.9%. Even the people that seem to be the smartest. Like, so there are forces, they are realities, there frequencies, there are truths that we can't even begin to understand. So yeah, be in gratitude, start to use these energies for your favor. And I think I read this book by U.S. Anderson. It was pretty interesting. And he talked about frequency, not just as a way to manifest things, but frequency also kind of moving you in the reality field. So if you imagine all these different, like, marbles kind of like stacked up going vertical, these different rows on a shelf, that frequency isn't just attracting different things to the marble on the bottom shelf and then the marble stays on that bottom shelf its whole life. The frequency that marble on the bottom shelf is holding actually moves it up the shelves to like the top, and then it's actually being supported and held in place by all the other marbles in the frequency spectrum because it's holding that higher frequency. So it's moving you in this reality. So, I'm not saying bad things won't happen and all that, but it's literally like you are moving your reality to another spectrum. Like I know a lot of people during the pandemic that were worried about getting sick and having massive health problems. I know a lot of people during the pandemic that because of that did things that they thought were the right thing to do. Maybe now they're realizing they're not. And then they're having those challenges. So I'm like, the people that were, sometimes most fearful about something actually ended up having that same outcome without it wasn't the virus that did it, but they had the same outcome. It's just, it's like anything else. I think we move along a frequency sphere and a frequency um pattern, and we end up with outcomes based on what we're creating and putting out in the field. And like if something really bad happens to somebody, you're like, oh well, I was thinking positive, and I was like, yeah, but what happened 10 years ago, right? Or did you heal that part? So I mean, my main idea is there is stuff we just can't even begin to understand. But if we can do one thing, like you said, start in gratitude, there could be all sorts of things happening in the world. Doesn't mean they're going to happen to you. Doesn't mean you're going
Right.
to be the one that has this happen. And the more you're looking at, so like I have a friend, um, there was something about September 22nd, some Christian date or something where like there was going to be some big bad event. And every few months we hear this, oh, now it's going to be this
Yeah.
date.
And now it's
So
supposed to be
she
October 4th.
Oh yeah, because they're gonna send out some broadcast and it's gonna fry everybody's brain or whatever.
Yeah.
Put your phone in a Faraday cage or something, or just stick it. Anyway, so September 22nd was this big day, right? And so she was so worried about all this stuff gonna happen. So she bought all these solar generators. She did all this stuff. She bought extra food. Well, I kept telling her, I was like, I don't think it's gonna happen. First of all, I didn't read all the prophecies and all that, but I also
Yeah,
thought,
no.
consciousness is shifting so fast that even if somebody was trying to do something and they had a timeline for it, it's not holding in the field because we're
No.
elevating so fast. So what happened to her? Well, she came by this weekend. Her water heater broke. So now her main concern was not having like food and water utilities. Boom, broke. Didn't happen to me, didn't happen to anyone else. So boom, there was her catastrophe. Then the car
Yeah.
broke down. So with that particular car, they couldn't drive it. So these little, and somebody got sick or whatever. So it's like all these little things, like she materialized in her world, but it wasn't that one thing that was the September 22nd thing. It was that she was holding that date as like negative gonna happen, and boom,
Yeah.
it happened. Didn't happen to me, didn't happen to you.
Yeah.
So, I kind of watch all these things and I'm like, are these people trying to make stuff happen? I go, I don't know. I just know the more I listen to that stuff, the worse my life gets. And then the more I don't listen, like it gets better. So like, I just don't want to listen anymore. At
Yeah,
least
I've
for now.
learned that I don't listen to any of that anymore. I remember the year 2000 that all the computers were going to go down. Everybody was freaked out. The world was going to end. And then it was 2012. I got to stay in 2012. I got to stay on a mountaintop in Spain with solar panels, fresh spring water, totally off the grid. And these people had all of these, they had like extra bras and underwear, barrels of beans and rice. And then they ended up not wanting to buy the place. So they had to move everything out and generators, everything, get rid of everything. I said, man, nothing's going to happen. And that's when I started really unplugging from what everybody's saying about that stuff. But that house was incredible. I got to stay up there for a month.
Mm, yeah.
But everybody, there's always a fear. There's always a fear. There's always a collapse. There's always the world is going to end. That's one of the activations I'm going to do. The sky is falling.
Yes.
So I'm going to write that down to make sure and do it. And since you said something, we're going to clear spike protein and the gut bio too. Today, we're going to work on that. I'm seeing people aren't getting shut down on YouTube anymore for talking about this stuff. So we're going to run some energy on that to really support people and support the collective consciousness on all of this.
And I think a lot of the health fears, whether people did something or not, or, whether they, did something or not. I think a lot of the health fears, we're still holding this like health fear in our consciousness, and it's causing the bodies to break down. Like if you're holding a health fear that you didn't release, you didn't resolve, you're like, I made it through that pandemic. Thank God, I could have been dead. I'm so glad it's over. But now you have that hyper awareness to like, oh, anything invisible could take me out because I really believed that from the beginning. Do you think that's still not running in your field? Are you not around invisible microbes and germs constantly? I mean, at some level, I wonder if the breakdown that's happening to people is because that they never released that fear. Yeah, we made it through, but that fear is still there. It's like a trauma. I mean, you could be abused as a child. Unfortunately, your parent could have passed on. But does that trauma later show up and create breakdowns? We know it does. So until we release all of that mass conditioning and fear and uncertainty and volatility that we lived through and really work on that, boy, people are having challenges. Good people, wonderful people I love. I'm seeing it all the time.
Yeah.
So, I really my teacher Gerald taught me, if there's something you don't want, the moment you hear it, just say cancel. The subconscious mind, at least according to him, and he was a master hypnotist, could understand cancel. So like, I'd be honest, like I would see Dr. Fauci and I was like, cancel, cancel, and I could sense like there was just stuff that wasn't really right to me. I didn't see souls. I didn't see connections. I didn't see, like through the eyes, I just saw this like blank and I was like, yeah, cancel. I don't want to hear that. Oh, it's going to be a winter of death. Cancel, cancel.
Cancel.
Just all this stuff. And they're going to, there's going to be more stuff. There's going to be something else. There's always something coming.
We're
Just
creating
cancel.
diamonds.
That's right. They're creating diamonds.
And everybody is here to support us in creating a diamond within ourselves and on the earth.
And you know what the diamonds are going to do? They're going to cut through the glass walls that are the invisible consciousness ceilings that we don't realize. Every one of you that becomes a diamond, you're going to cut through it, and then we're all going to ascend. And so the thing that anybody thinks is going to hold back humanity is actually going to accelerate it forward. And there's nothing that can be done to stop it, because it's going to happen. It's absolutely going to happen.
That's what keeps me going.
I want to wait to see.
It's fun, isn't it? I mean, it really is fun. I mean, of course, we have our challenges and things we have to work through too, but we're also helping humanity as we do it. But I know we get world peace. I know we're living on heaven and earth. I know we are. I mean, it's right here, and we just have to see it and connect into that energy, and then that matrix just falls away. But until we do that, the matrix still has control over us. What would you say about that?
I mean, to an extent, like if you're thinking about like, okay, do I need to rely on the water system of like my municipal utility district? Yeah, I got to worry about that. Do I need electricity? Yeah, if somebody wants to cut off my electricity, yeah, that would probably suck. But then I would find a solution. So, I mean, I would say loosely, but not exactly. So, I don't know. I kind of just go cancel, cancel.
Yeah.
Cancel.
I'm laughing at you when you're saying cancel, because when I first learned about that, I would always touch the center of my forehead. Cancel.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Funny.
cancel.
I like that. Cancel. That's even better.
So I was constantly walking around doing this.
God. Well, that's taking, this I guess kinesthetic learning and just like feeling and imprinting it. The other thing that I learned through one of my teachers, William, can't remember his name. Wow, I wish I could. Great NLP guy, but he would always say, like, if you have a vision, like let's say you're trying to make that future scene of what you want, that projected thing that we talked about with Helen Haskell, is like clamp your fingers together and then open up the scene. Or like, imagine I have a mouse right here, how we click with the little finger. Find the finger you click and then just sit there and click your reality. And just be like, okay, I imagine, I'm washing the wonderful car. Click, and then it opens up like a window. You go into the scene, and then click, and now you're not necessarily even feeling the scene. You're just kind of opening the energy. So like I'll be walking around during the day, and I have like my hand on my leg here, and I'm just like click, and I'm just blasting myself with the frequency of whatever that scene is, and just feeling it. And yeah, sure, if something comes in, then you go cancel, or use the other finger, cancel, and just start playing with this reality, because you're like Tamra says, you're creating the whole thing. Like you are creating 99.9% of it. And if you don't, and something rough happens, that's when you are up leveling. Like I know we got to do an activation in a minute, but I think we go through seasons. I think we have summer, we have fall, we have winter, and we have summer again. And I think we go through these 4 seasons, and we have spring. Like we go through them, and like when you have a hard time, that's a winter. When we were looking at, our producer left the show, she had some health challenges. Other person, health challenges designer, 2 of my best people, like they can't do it. I told my wife, I'm like, honey, this is a winter. This is causing us to up level. Like we can't go outside in the winter without a coat on and just be prepared that it's going to be a little cold. We're going to have to bundle up. We're going to have to get our warmth. We're going to have to get our energy to go out in the world and make sure that we can operate. In the summer, it doesn't matter. Like we can do whatever. But right now it's a winter, and it's going to cause us to level up. It's a good thing. It's going to cause us to strengthen what we got to do, and strengthen our energy, strengthen our resolve, look at things differently, and move forward. And so it's perfect, because like the sooner we admit it's a winter and we make plans, then we're out of the winter, and then now we move into the summer again. The big challenge is people don't, especially in spiritual community, they don't want to admit something's going wrong. So you're like, it doesn't exist. It's not real. It's a, or you could take this and go cancel, but you also may have to be realistic about the fact that, okay, I got to deal with it. I got to alchemize the energy situation, and then I got to move to a higher vibration. Like if I ignore the fact that I haven't paid income taxes and I just say cancel, 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 what's going to happen, right? I'm going to end up eventually owing more money. They're going to start foreclosing on stuff, putting liens. Now I've taken a smaller energy vibration that I should have alchemized and moved to higher vibration by being in gratitude for paying for my taxes, being gratitude that I have money to pay, etc., that I made money to
Right.
pay, and I've made it worse. So it's like there's a point where, yeah, there's going to be stuff like brushing your teeth you got to do. You can't deny that. But the little stuff, you know, have the vision, move forward, realize when you're in a winter, and then make some plans to go forward and get into spring, summer, because it's coming. It's always going to come. By nature of the law, it's going the pendulum is going to swing, and then you're going to be ready. It's going to be amazing, and rejoice in it, because that's the time you're being called
Right.
really to level up. And you can. This is like your spiritual evolution. Like I know I learned the most after my first marriage ended, and I was brokenhearted, trying to figure out my life. That's when I like my whole life got recreated from that winter. If I didn't have that winter, I wouldn't be
Yeah.
here today. That winter was like the best thing that happened in my life. I got my
Yeah.
2 kids, and because of that winter, I wouldn't have even had them. I wouldn't even be here. So I'm like,
Yeah.
if I was denying that, you know, I was like, no, this is winter. There's some awesome stuff's gonna happen. It's easier
Right.
to manifest in a winter because all of your clothes get removed and you're just there naked, and you're like, okay, what's going to show up? Like winter is awesome. Like you want a winter.
Yeah.
So don't deny your winter, because that's when you're going to just like explode, and then that's just going to propel you forward. But if you deny it and you're like, oh no, I'm going to keep going back, or I'm not going to cut the line and go forward, then it's
Yeah. Then I call that spinning out.
yeah.
You're spinning out in it, and you've got to see that you're spinning out in this in order to pull yourself out to get back in line.
Yes.
So I spin out sometimes, you know. I spun out in world peace for a really long time, and I have to get world peace. I have to save the world. I have to do this. I have to do that. And it was an overwhelming feeling. I was overwhelmed by it. And then I cleared it actually when I was in England last year. I cleared that energy. Because I heard world peace is also a label in a box. And I went, oh my God, you're right. So I cleared myself out of that. And then I felt empty for a couple of weeks. And I went, now what do I do? Well, you know, I'm doing the same thing I was doing, but with a whole different energy behind it.
Right. Yeah. You're being world peace. Like all you have
Yeah.
to you're going to be world peace. Like you are the
Yeah.
embodiment of world peace. You're the energy of world
Exactly.
peace. So
I'm bringing
I'm
that
it
into my
already.
timeline now.
Yeah.
And that's my timeline. I'm not affecting anybody. I mean, however it affects the world, it affects the world. But to me, I am peace. You know what I mean? I am love. I am joy. I am happiness. And that's where I'm at. And that's how my world is. That's how things flow for me, because I'm in that myself. And so that's what I see in the world. I don't see the trauma and dramas in the world like I used to, where I had to save it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So really, I invite all of you guys in peace inside of you, and everything around you changes. What else would you like to say? Because I did promise to run some activations, so I've got to run some activations.
Does anybody have any questions, or is there anything that you want to ask?
No, we gotta close up.
Okay.
We gotta say goodbye. Sorry, guys. No questions. We love you all, and thank you so much for being here live. And if you guys want to be live on the show, make sure you sign up on my website so you get notice. So you're welcome to be here live. We record this on Zoom. And if you're watching this, there's many different places we are. Thank you so much for taking time to watch us and connect with us. You want to connect with Darius, we have all of his contact information below. He does a show, I think 4 times a week, You Wealth
4
Revolution.
times a week.
I've been a guest several times on there. I absolutely love Darius. He has amazing guests. So definitely check him out. And if you are on live, I will be on tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I'll be able to connect with, we'll be able to continue this conversation tomorrow. But if you're listening to the replay, make sure you go over to his website and get signed up. He's Darius, you're amazing. I love talking to you. I'm so thankful that you came on the show.
Yeah, and we've got a gift. We've got a 540 hertz Energy of Joy MP3 that we made, and I calibrated the frequencies with a team, and it's the 540 hertz Joy Energy, and we added 528 hertz, which is the DNA repair frequency. So we've kind of combined both of these into a really cool meditation. So just to raise the vibration and move people in. And our theme this season is Heal, which is the holistic energetics of abundance and love. Because when we're in abundance and love, that's the energy where I believe everything comes together. So we're broadcasting that frequency out to the world, abundance and love, and it's this holistic state that we are all in, that is our natural state, and that's the goal, that's the aim. So thanks everybody. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Darius. Thank you. All right, you guys, I promised to run these activations. So we're going to do gut bio, spike proteins, and the sky is falling. So I'm just going to run all three of these. So I invite you just to connect inside. You can't do this wrong. The only way you can do this wrong is be driving while you're listening. So please don't do that. So here we go. Everybody, I invite you to connect into Mother Earth. Feel that peace, love, joy, and happiness flow through every single cell of your body. Again, I want to thank you for joining us today. If you're not a member of my website, make sure you sign up. We have lots of free gifts and links to a lot of free healing, plus a lot of other webinars and practitioner training. Okay, open your eyes when you're ready. This energy is going to continue working with you for days, weeks, even months, shifting you up and helping you feel better and more in your power. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Darius. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.